Obrigado, race fans, and welcome to season 2020, episode 32 of the Pecino Report. This is the podcast that gets past the hype and takes you straight to what's going on in the MotoGP paddock. Well, it's episode 32. It's the Savadori episode. Who? Never mind. He's a guy, apparently. He's number 32. It's been incredible. We've had the final race of the season. It was absolutely amazing, as we knew it was going to be. We've now got 3 world champions, worthy world champions, some incredible racing. We've had an incredible weekend at Portimao in Portugal. What a racetrack. It's a character all by itself. So here we are to wrap it all up for the last time this year. And first of all, I'm going to throw over to our newbie for the year, Andra. Andra, that's a lovely hair you've got there, my dear. Did you get your hair done especially for this episode?
I did, thank you. Thank you for noticing.
Feel.
So,
I know, right?
Yeah, very nice indeed. Yeah, so you've seen an entire season of MotoGP now. What are your thoughts?
Well, first of all, I went into the hairdresser and asked for the Massia. So it's a little bit longer, but
true.
I tried. Shit. I actually exchanged a quick message today with Sam Lowe's because I messaged and said to him, my first ever year watching MotoGP was an absolute pleasure to chat to him through the year. Thank you so much. And just, I'm just reflecting on it. I'm going to get all soppy now, but like you guys and just, you know, the relationships that we've built, the people we've got to know through doing the podcast, like it's become such a big part of my life. And I don't know how I'm going to last until the season next year starts.
I know, it's terrible, isn't it? There's no more racing for a while. That's horrendous. And boss, Jefe, Manuel, you're back home, I can see. You were there in Portimao. How's Portugal this time of year?
Oh, Portimao, I knew already, but it was incredible, you know, almost empty because of the corona, but the weather was fantastic, nice beaches, kids doing surfing in the morning. So somehow it was a little bit like Australia in the mornings. But and
were there drunks passed out on the beach?
The Portuguese are too serious for that, you know, they are very serious people. But it was fantastic. It was a great weekend, and I have to say that the mixed feeling when the race finished, you know, it was a mixed feeling of, this crazy season has finished. But at the same time, the emotion said, okay, now we have to wait until February to see the bikes and the riders on the track. Yes, strange feelings.
Indeed. So let's get straight into it. I mean, we say this is for MotoGP, but realistically, I want to start with Moto2 because, oh my God, Moto2, what a race. Obviously, we had the Aussie legend himself, Remy, good on you, mate,
who got the
result there. What a way to finish the season. And what a battle that he had for that entire race as well. Absolutely fantastic. But really, for me, the real hero of the day is our good friend, Sam Lowe's. What a performance from Sam.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, both of them. Look, I just hear you and I get goosebumps because, especially for Sam, you know, because for Remy, it's joy, you know, it's cool for him winning. And he has gone through so many, difficulties, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
He lives abroad, as you know, he lives in Spain. He got heavily injured many times, but
there was a week his team wasn't going to race because they didn't have any funding and they were going to pull the plug.
Right. Yes, yeah.
So imagine, and then he was at the top of the podium. Imagine his feelings, you know, everything was worth.
Exactly.
And he worked so hard for it, didn't he?
Yes, and regarding Sam, again, every time as I mention his name, I get goosebumps. You know, it was simply impressive. In the press room, we were Italian, Irish, a journalist, a girl from Hungary, another one from Switzerland, and myself. And we were all Sam Lowe's that Sunday. Incredible, you know. Even the Italian journalist, they were pushing for Sam. He did an incredible, and once again, and this I want to underline, once again, he showed how the British riders race, you know.
Yeah,
they race very different. You know.
But there was that moment, sorry to butt in, when was it qualifying? He got off the bike, he came in and you heard him say, I can't do it.
Yeah, after the race, he came to visit us, and I asked him, did you think that you could make it during the race? I mean, win the race? He said, hey, at the grid, I thought I couldn't make the race. So imagine how, and he showed me his hand. His hand was like, I don't know how to call it. It was like a sausage, I saw it, incredible, swollen. And he came up, look, what I gave most value, when he came up to visit us, he was still in his leathers,
Respect.
El real racer, Stu, el real racer, el real racer.
Yeah.
Congratulations. And I am very proud of being a friend, of Sam,
Yeah.
And I think through what we have done here in this podcast with him, he knows us. He feels that we are with him. He was very nice guy.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. Yeah. And honestly, I was rooting for him that entire time, and I didn't think he was going to be able to make it to the end of the race.
I was waiting for him to. It looked like he couldn't even hold on. Like it was.
But nobody would have blamed him if he had just pulled in a pit lane and just gone, I'm done. Nobody would have blamed him whatsoever.
That
but
shows
to
how big
hang
his
on
heart
like
is.
that, exactly, and get that podium, absolutely amazing. Good on him. And that entire Moto2 race, outside of what was going on with Sam, realistically, to be able to, that's a big water bottle you've got there.
Well, thank you.
Water, sure. To be able to have the live championship standings switching and changing for the entire race, last race of the season, still not knowing who the champion was going to be. That is a season closer, as far as I'm concerned. That is the race of the season. That was fantastic.
Yeah, and during the race, there were moments that the championship, they was from Marini 2 points for the championship. And Bastianini came back and forwards, and at the end, he made it. So I am also very happy for him, because Bastianini is like underdog in Italy, because he is one of the few riders who is not from Valentino's environment or academy. So this gives him a special importance,
Like this?
Yeah, I think so.
Nah, he was bloody awesome.
Indeed,
and all those long laps. It was like the weekend of long laps.
The Leopard guys, what is going on with those Leopard engines? I thought they were a stock engine across the board, Manuel. What are you thinking?
Well, no. What happened in Portugal? Look,
he's in Portugal.
Stays in Portugal.
Exactly. They had to do 2 long laps, right?
Yeah.
During the race.
Yeah.
And they were like coming from the back and overtaking everyone. And it was, I have never seen something like this in all my life.
I was waiting for the tires to go.
I was expecting them to be 8 seconds behind or something phenomenal, because it's a pretty decent long lap.
Yeah.
But it didn't even really seem to affect them.
And look, in a category where everything is so close, they seemed that they were running with a 2-cylinder engine instead of 1. It was incredible. And I tell you, the guy who tunes up the Leopard engine, remember that with this team, Danny Kent won the championship.
Yep.
Remember that with this engine, Joan Mir won the championship.
That's right. That was 2017, wasn't it? Yes. I remember that.
So
Gulf Island, yeah.
This guy knows his job, and obviously all the rest of the category of the class, they have protested against his engines. The marshals have opened engines, have looked inside the engine, nothing strange.
Really?
And this year, this control happens twice. Once the team of Valentino Rossi paid, because when you do a protest, you have to put money on the table.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Like a bet.
Yeah, no, claro, because if not, you would complain after every race. But if you complain and said, I want this engine be open, then you have to put money on the table. And if the engine is okay, you lose that money.
Fair enough.
That's another type of gambling.
That's a good way of, like you say, stopping people just randomly complaining all the time.
And the funny thing is, obviously, that the ones who put the money, they were 100% sure that there was something in that engine. Because
you'd think so.
They wouldn't throw away that amount of money.
You wouldn't think so, no. But then there was nothing.
Nothing. But Stu, Andra, it's impossible what we saw the other day in Portugal. No way.
Yeah.
I don't know what happens if it
it's-
disappears when the race finishes.
But even their bikes in Moto3, Massey, my favorite rider of all time, like the way he could overtake bikes and like that. And I don't understand the engineering side of this, obviously, but the speed that it's a next level bike.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
It's crazy, isn't it?
It was. Every time they get on the straight, they pass 3-4 guys
Easy.
in one.
Yeah.
Easy.
Bam, 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 bam.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's it. So they're going to have a rude shock when they move up a class and they don't have that advantage anymore. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens when, if and when they do go up as well. So, beautiful. So Moto3, Moto2 was great. Sorry, Manuel, go on. Yep.
Yeah, before we switch to MotoGP, I think that you wanted. Let me tell you that there was already a test Monday after the race.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yes.
Where? What?
Yes, a test in Portimao, where Albert Arenas, the new Moto3 champions, rode for the first time in Moto2, and Remy Gardner did
on the
first
KTM.
On the KTM, and
Nice.
the people who saw his test said that it was impressive.
Nice.
Obviously, he was charged with the day before with his one, but the people who were at that test said Remy is clearly a MotoGP rider.
Nice. Good
Next
to see.
season, it should be a transition season, and in 2022, we want Remy in MotoGP.
Yes.
Easy.
2 Aussies in MotoGP. That's the way to do it.
Australia, look out.
Yeah, Australia. Jack Miller is the you have the best ambassador with
Oh,
this.
bloody oath.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah. What's going on? The
how
little
do you
slug
call
that
it?
he's got in his face.
Dirty Sanchez. Was he
It's
offering
just,
moustache rides or something?
an ant demonstration what he has around his mouth? You know that is.
Yes, it is. That's a little ant protest. Yeah, that's right. So that's a good transition. Let's switch over and talk about Jack, because talking about amazing rides. Oh my God, that one from Jack. Like the week before, Frankie held him off, and Frankie had an amazing ride again this last weekend. But realistically, clearly Jack knew what he was going to do, and on that last lap there, he just pulled the trigger. He got him, and he managed to stay ahead through turn 15 there. What a ride. That was a mature ride, wasn't it?
Yeah,
And he kept his
look,
tires.
The last races, Jack has shown that he is the Ducati man for the next year, clearly.
Yeah.
So if Ducati has to trust on Jack, and Jack has given back this trust, because if you look around the other Ducati riders, Jack has to save the life of Ducati engineer next year, and he has grown a lot. Compare the Jack we saw at the beginning of the season and the one we have seen at the finish. His curve has been up incredible.
Definitely has.
I like him. He is fast, very fast. He's capable to do good grid positions. That is very important. And he's capable to stay in the front during the races. And in the last lap, he gets out this Aussie spirit, right?
Yep.
I like that. I like him because he's a funny guy. He's not these guys that are like from a laboratory, these
a robot.
Spaniards and Italians, they say always the same. When you interview them, you basically can do an interview without interviewing them because you know the answers. With Jack, you never know what he's going to answer,
Nice. Yeah, good stuff. Yeah, no, it was an incredible ride. And you're right. Ducati realistically now have to repay the faith. He's saved them this year. You look at all the other riders; they haven't performed at all. You look constantly on the finish positions. He's up there 5-10 places ahead of the next Ducati, well, the next 2020 Ducati anyway. So, and he has won them the silverware this year because of his performance last weekend. They won the constructors title. So that is purely thanks to Jack. So realistically, for me, that's a massive well done. Well done to
Jack, very good.
Yeah. Andrew.
He's a shit taxi though, right?
He is a shit taxi.
Oh, it was so good seeing that bit of banter. Alex
Yes.
Rins standing there waiting for his ride. He's like, stuff it.
Yep, indeed. So look, I think at this
But
point, as well,
hang on. Did you see Rins? I think Rins has never done this before because the bikes were going on to the right side and he was doing the finger on the left.
On the left, yeah.
Did you realize that?
Yes.
He was like this, and the
Yep.
bikes were going that way.
Yep. Is that what you want to go back? Okay, we'll take you back. That's
And I
right.
was thinking where he was, they wouldn't have even been able to see him because it was just over that. Was that the same hill where they were all getting a bit of air, or was it a different spot?
I think that was the same spot. It was over the crest, yeah.
Yeah, that was Aaron Canet appeared without the bike. You know?
Oh my freaking God.
Just
That was,
sliding.
I woke up, was it Saturday, Sunday? Woke up and my husband goes, Andrew, watch this. And I was just like, you know, when you're watching something and you're going, I can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he was lucky.
Because
very
they
lucky.
didn't show it on our footage here in Australia watching.
Uh-huh.
No, that's
went,
right, yeah.
They went,
Not on the live
something's
footage,
happened. But so, oh my God, that was sickening.
It was indeed.
But yeah, in saying that track was bloody
Well,
amazing.
that's what I wanted to talk about next. Is like for me, the let's say the personality of the whole event. It's not one rider or one team or anything. For me, it's the track. That track is absolutely incredible. So I heard stories that it was supposed to be homologated and used, accepted
as a motocross
for
track.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, as a MotoGP and an F1 track years ago, but when they went to go and do the evaluation of the track, the weather was terrible. And so the riders couldn't get any decent grip and they couldn't get any good lap times on there. And they said, oh, it's horrible. We don't like it. They're the stories that I heard. And so it was never approved to actually go onto the calendar. But now it's been given this opportunity. All I've been hearing is positive things about it. And oh my God, it's a roller coaster of love. It's amazing. I love it.
Yeah.
I read somewhere, I don't know if it was one of the riders or someone went, oh no, it's not a proper MotoGP track, as in that it's not flat enough. I can't think who that was.
Yeah, someone who's at the back of the pack, obviously.
Most of them, from my observation, the riders were having a ball. They were loving it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and did you realize that the bikes were never straight? They were always
Yes.
from one side to another side to another.
And as they come up and get a bit of air, they're sort of turning half in the air, trying to get ready for the corner. And
the only moment they were straight was on the straight, but between corners there were no moment that where the bike was up straight. You know, it was.
That's it.
And
even half of the straight, it goes up and then flattens and then comes back down again. That's insane.
Stu, how do the F1s? How do the cars go on that? Do they get air?
No, they've got a lot of downforce. No, well, it's the aero downforce that they've got, so they don't get any air. They are stuck right to the track. But even the cars were saying that they loved it when they were there a couple of weeks ago as well.
I hope. So do they add it?
We'll definitely see it in 2021.
Do you think they might add it permanently to the schedule?
Please. I hope so. What do you reckon, Manuel? Do you reckon we'll see it in the next few years?
Yeah, absolutely. Because I spoke with the president of the FIM, yes, the International Motorcycle Federation, who is a Portuguese. And he told me, look, it's not on the provisional calendar, but it's most than probable that we don't go to Texas next year.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. Yep.
And to Argentina.
Because America's going to be on fire. Yeah.
Yeah. Even without Trump.
Yeah.
and it seems that the championship will be in Portugal in April.
Yes, that's going to be nice. What's the weather like there in April? That's quite warm, isn't it?
That?
Yeah, it's spring. It's just spring. It will be fantastic.
We've got to make plans to meet up next year.
We do.
Yeah,
we do
if you come, look, it would be Jerez and then Portimao.
Done.
Could
Done
handle
deal.
that. Okay.
Yep. So for just a quick question, I want to put it to all the listeners and all the viewers now. If you could get out to one track that you've seen this year, we've seen in F1 and in MotoGP, we've seen tracks that we don't normally see. If you could get out to one track in 2021, which one would it be? Let us know. So have a look in the comments below, all that sort of thing, to let us know which track that you want to get out to next year for sure.
At Portimao, Manuel, when you're in your little cool journalist room, because they were showing on TV like the 3D kind of picture of the track, can you see most of the track from where you are? Because it looks like
No,
you can see a lot more than normal.
No, most not, because the track is wide. It's spread around in a big surface. It's not like, for example, Valencia is like a stadium.
Okay.
In Valencia, from any grandstand, you can see 80% of the track.
Oh,
minimum.
wow. I wouldn't have picked that.
And here not. Here you see just 2-3 turn, one turn. It's difficult, but you can walk, and the side road that is very close to the track, to the circuit.
Oh, wow.
So you can see them really pass so close, and it impresses a lot.
Do you really see them though?
See a blur. That was an orange blur. That was a blue blur. Indeed, that's how you see it. Indeed, yeah. What a weekend, and like I say, what a track. Absolutely amazing. And realistically, I want to have a massive shout out as well. We've come this far. We haven't even mentioned the race winner, as we lovingly call him here on the podcast, Michael Olive. So our good friend Michael Olive, Miguel Oliveira.
On his home track, right?
His home track. He was clearly on a different planet. It was like he was racing a MotoGP bike against Moto2 bikes. Absolutely incredible. That goes to show track knowledge is so valuable. And what a race he rode, Manuel?
Yes, no, Oliveira, he had won another race, but in Austria, remember, but that victory was strange, right?
Yes,
it was like an error of the others and so on.
And that was Jack again was in that fight.
Yeah, but this time it was he raced another race. He raced in another circuit. He had a shortcut somewhere that we didn't realize, because
a little tunnel that went underneath the track. Has he spent more time on that track than everyone else?
Oh,
then?
yeah. This he raced there an endurance race, so he has done hundreds of laps. But look, the other riders were pretty fair and said, look, at our level, after 15 laps on a new circuit, we know the lines, because at the end they are the super top guys, super professional.
So you don't think that his experience on the track was a contributor as such?
No, it has probably it has helped, because it's such a unique track, so different, as we just explained. For example, Valentino said that it was for him so difficult to understand the track.
Well, I guess all the tracks he races on, he's raced it on for 472 years, all the years he's been racing.
Claro, all the other tracks he has done 500
wouldn't have had to learn a new track. Yeah,
that's
and it's hard when you're older to learn new things.
And especially when it's, I wouldn't say dangerous, but it's a high-speed crash, because safety-wise it's okay, but being as fast, when you crash, you crash.
I was surprised that there wasn't really any crashes that were. It surprised me. I thought there was going to be shit everywhere.
It was a quiet weekend when you think about offs and that sort of thing. It was indeed, definitely. But I'm still an amazing weekend of action on the circuit. So we've spoken about Jack and Michael Olive. I think we need to have a special mention for Frankie as well, because again, that performance from Frankie, when you're similar to what Jack's doing on a Ducati, Frankie seems to be doing the same thing on a Yamaha. You see all the other people on the Yamaha complaining about the bike, but Frankie's just getting out there and just getting it done and getting on with it and showing that it can podium on that bike, isn't he, Manuel?
Yes. Look, what has happened in Yamaha, people think, wow, we don't understand because the new bikes don't work. Frankie's old bike is the one that works. But Stu, the memory in racing is very short.
Yes.
Just go back in 2017. 2017, a guy called Joan Zarco arrived, jumped on a 2016 bike, and impressed everybody. Remember, I think he did the pole position in the first race. That year, this rookie called Joan Zarco, he beat regularly the two factory guys called Maverick Viñales and Valentino Rossi. Okay. Then came another rookie in 2019 called Fabio Quartararo, who was given an old bike, and surprised everyone. In 2020, what has happened? A guy called Morbidelli was given an old bike and beat the guys called Maverick Viñales and Valentino Rossi. So at the end, it's
Got to be the
nothing.
bike.
It's not nothing abnormal, out of the normality. So I don't know. The thing I think after hearing this or after remembering this, the Yamaha guys shouldn't build a new bike because every time the old bike is faster than the new one. So please don't do a new bike for 2021.
Not that they have much choice anyway. They have to stick with the same bike. So it could be a good thing for them. Instead of using the 2020 bike in 2021, the factory team might decide to use the 2019 bike again. Who knows? Well, it could be crazy.
Fabio already said, I want my 2019 bike back. Exactly. But there is just one, that is Franco's. So are they going to take Franco bike away?
They're going to have to go to the museum and get the other bikes out of the museum.
And then, hang on, and when Maverick Viñales heard that, said, okay, I want back my 2016 bike.
Yeah. Hang on, is that a 990cc one? Hang on. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
so it was such a mess what is happening in Yamaha. I don't understand.
It is. And while we're talking about Yamaha as well, I was reading the other day that, and this is very topical again for conversations that we've had recently. So Fabio Quartararo has come out and said in the off season, he's going to get some psychological help because he recognizes that he completely caved in towards the end of the year psychologically. And as we say, the proof is Morbidelli's results. It's, that's got to be the proof realistically. But yeah, so we've had conversations previously, Manuel, even back at the beginning of the year, we spoke about Dovi's psychological coach and all the psychological work that he was doing. And I think a few weeks ago, we just very briefly mentioned, is Fabio getting some assistance? So it seems like he's probably not getting that much psychological assistance. And he's recognized now that he really needs it because that's his shortcoming, obviously, at the moment.
That's great to hear.
Something about racing we know here at our podcast, We have been announcing this. Yeah. And I tell you something, because again, going back to the figures, Fabio has been leading the championship for, I think it was 7 or 8 Grand Prix.
Yeah, that's right.
Until the championship arrived in Aragon.
That's right.
Before
wasn't that the track he was going to do amazing at?
No, that was Valencia. But
that was after Aragon. Yeah.
Fabio has been one of the real challengers for the championship for more of half of the season. Mm-hmm. And you know how he finished the championship?
Yeah, wasn't he 5th or 6th in the end? Was he 8th in the end? Position. Oh my God. I haven't even looked, but I thought he was 5th or 6th.
Can you imagine his brain? He was until 3 races, I'm going to challenge for the championship. And he finished 8th.
Wow. That is absolutely crazy. So the next thing I wanted to bring up with you, and speaking of people who finished the year in a terrible way, the world champion, Joan Mir. So my first question is, what happened in that race? Because I haven't seen what had happened. He was having some rear tire problems or something. And my second question is, do the results that he's had this year really justify him being a world champion? I know we've spoken about it recently in the past with people knocking him, saying it's terrible and they shouldn't be knocking him. But really, I mean, is he going to be a contender again next year?
I know his mum is.
His mum's definitely a contender.
We want him to be world champion.
I think people are still just talking about his mum.
Just for the celebration. Did you hear what he said when they spoke about his mother? That his mother, wow. No, he said, well, now you know why I look so nice.
Oh, right. Of course, yeah. Oh, yeah, pretty boy.
It was elegant how to go through that question.
Exactly. So, what happened on the weekend? Do you know what happened on the weekend because he retired?
What happened on the weekend? He got a little bit of, not upset, but he looked at me so very strange because Sunday after the race, he came to the press room and said, no, I had a problem. I had a touch with Zarco, who could not be another rider during the race. And then the Zarco is always in all the, how do you say, Zarco is everywhere. And
It's always
he-
Zarco.
Yeah, and then I told him, hey, Joan, don't worry. This weekend you have been on holidays. You did your job.
He's
And he looked at me and said, journalists, always the same.
So you looked at him and went, riders, you're always the same.
Yeah, but look, he started from the last row of the starting grid, okay?
Yep.
And do you think it's coincidence that he did that after winning the championship? He had switched off.
Oh, completely. And that's what I said
Probably
last week.
could.
He's put the queue in the rack. He's done for the year.
Claro, he did right. He did right. He has
Finished
been
on a
under
high.
pressure for so long. Exactly.
Winner's
Then
privilege. He can do that.
He should have gone home after Valencia.
He was
no?
the one person in every single grade that could just go, yeah, okay, my job's done.
Yeah.
Claro. And then, of course, then probably in racing happened what he said. But the weekend he was somewhere else, He was not
He was
there.
completely. Yeah, he was on holiday, wasn't he? So next year, let's fast forward to next
hang
year.
Hang on.
Oh, no, okay, go on, there's something else.
Yes, regarding Joan, there is a funny story regarding the cash.
Oh, yeah.
Because as nobody expected him to be a world champion, when they did the contract, it was his manager said, okay, what about the bonus if he's world
Performance
champion?
bonus.
So they said, okay, put the figure you want, more or less.
Oh.
Stu,
50
they
million.
don't have
His family
they don't
doesn't
have
need the money.
They don't
They
have
don't
the
have-
money to pay him.
No, they have to ask a special extra to Suzuki to pay. And I tell you
That's
more,
brilliant.
What?
the new contract, look, Joan had to sign a new contract, I think it was in May or something like this, right? But when it came to sign the new contract, he said, oh, hang on, guys. The money I was making for the new contract was depending on my results
Yep.
in the first races. And we have not raced yet. So I won't sign with the low money you put on my first contract, which I accepted to have the chance to come into MotoGP.
Clearly.
So let's let open the money I will get in the new contract depending on the result.
Oh, no. He's
Stu,
made. He has got it made. He's got to send Suzuki broke.
So he has the bonus, and then he will be now. His manager told me that probably he is now the third or fourth best paid rider in the whole championship.
But did you say it
Good on him.
depends on his results next year?
No, on the results of this year.
Oh,
Yeah. World champion, baby.
They signed the contract and they said, okay, the money you are getting next year will depend on the results of this year. So they did. Okay, if you finish fifth, you tie. But nobody thought that they could finish first.
Oh, that's brilliant. That is
it's almost as
absolutely
good
fantastic.
as, was it Dovey when they cut his pay and said, all right, you can get this much per win, and he won a heap of races?
The
Yeah.
same the Dhabi with 2018 when Lorenzo arrived. No, yeah,
Yes. Yep.
the same, exactly the same.
Yeah.
So, Manuel, tell me all this talk about Mir. From what you guys have taught me this year, the way the cards fall, you're going to have some of the top riders that are out, so someone else is going to win and this and that. He clearly won the championship fair and square. But
Yes.
there's lots of people talking about, oh, this person actually won more races and this and that, and everyone's a bit disgruntled, but he won.
Yes, both positions are true, are right. He won the championship. He deserves the championship, and period. He did better than the rest, and the points are there. This is clear, okay? But then, what is going to happen in the future? You put between question marks, for example, that there 3 riders finished the championship with more wins than him. 3.
Yep.
Morbidelli, Quartararo, and Oliveira.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Then he has never done a pole position in MotoGP, which is nothing but gives some status, okay?
Yep.
Which is
So-
odd because the people, because they're pole, don't just win either. Like that
Yeah,
clearly
but shows
doesn't-
how
And you don't get
fast
points
you
on that,
are.
but it does.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair.
what you are capable of, you know,
Mhm.
because at the end, the riders, it's about who is the fastest around the track, you know, and for them, doing it in one lap, it's kind of a status. And then there is another thing that is also very interesting to analyze is the points that he has won the championship with. Okay. If you do, how do you say la división? If you divide.
Yep,
the-
divide.
Say that in Spanish
five-
again.
La
División.
Division.
Okay. If you divide the points he got in the championship between the 14 Grand Prix, the result is that a rider that would have finished fourth in all Grand Prix would have turned champion. And this is something amazing. If you compare this with last year, Marquez won the
Taka could have
championship.
won. He was almost
Yeah,
consistently around there.
No, Marquez won the championship with results over second position. So
Yeah.
what kind
More
of
than 20
championship-
points a race. Yeah.
Yeah. So what kind of championship champion will Mir will be? We will see next year. So this is a challenge for Mir, you know, because obviously he hears all this stuff and he knows that he's champion, but will he be a champion like Kenny Roberts Jr., who just won one?
Yep.
Will he be a champion like Alex Cribillet, who just won one? Or will he be the challenger that Jorge Lorenzo was to Valentino, you know?
Yeah. Goes to that next level and stays there. Exactly.
Exactly. This will be very interesting. And I am sure that Mir will work during the winter double as normal, thinking in Marc Marquez. You know, I have to beat this guy. I have to beat this guy. But the problem is that they don't have the reference of which Marquez we will face when he returns.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. We don't know yet. Have we, going off topic completely, have we had any updates for Mark? Do we know how his arm's going or what's going on?
Yeah.
Do they put some of his ass in his arm to fix it or something?
Look, I know that the deadline is December 1st.
Okay.
You know,
It's next week. Oh, shit, that's next
Exactly.
week.
Yeah.
So they had tried to, or they are trying, we don't know if it's going to work or not. They are trying to fix it with another treatment, no? Tratamiento.
Yes.
And if it doesn't work, they will go to surgery because the time is running out. If Marquez wants to return in time for the next championship, he has to take a decision. And this will happen on December 1st.
Is it because of how bad the break was, or did they just screw up the surgery? Or was it because he opened a window?
It was because he screwed up his post-operation recuperation, wasn't it? Yeah.
Look, I know that in the second surgery, they implanted a bone from a cadaver. You know cadaver? Dead person.
Yeah, dead body, yeah. Wow,
Yeah.
okay.
And this...
he's got a ghost in his body.
Yeah, this was not accepted by his
body. He said something very brutal.
Wow.
Therefore, they need to take bone from his hip, his own bones to put in his arm because the bone from the body is not working.
So, Manuel, question for you. In Spain, do you have a TV show called Botched?
No.
So it's a TV
so like
show.
boob jobs going wrong?
Exactly. It's a TV show that, see, my wife watches a lot of what I call trash TV, reality TV.
Yes.
And there's an American show called Botched, which is basically messed up surgery and these doctors have to fix it. So, and it's normally boob jobs or noses or that sort of thing. But are we going to see Marc Marquez on an episode of Botched sometime where they're having to take pieces of a dead body out of his arm and go and get some of his hip and put it in there? That sounds like what they're going to have to do.
I don't think that it will, because all this officially won't happen. Imagine just the insurance that is behind.
Yeah.
Because
I think they've been so quiet.
Yeah, we know. We spoke about this. Look, Mark has more or less a contract about how much? 10 millions per year, 12, 15 millions per year. He has not raced one race. Legally, he cannot be paid.
Yeah, exactly.
So imagine, of course, his lawyers will argue this. The insurance company that has to pay will argue this. And then are the doctors. The insurance company will go against the doctors.
Yep.
You know, for them to pay the contract of Marquez. So
Dr. Mir must have some bloody good lawyers, hey?
Yeah, but look, and imagine the doctors, the college of doctors they have. For them, this is natural. They are complaining, getting complaints constantly. So we don't hear anything. I think because of a legal matter. The first one who opens the mouth pays the bill.
Yep. Indeed. So speaking of I just want to take another very quick step sideways. I think, or as Manuel says, just some parentheses. Let's just move to the side. Pecco Bagnaia, what happened on the weekend? He dislocated his shoulder, and I think it was Zarco that hit him.
Of course it was.
What the hell?
Of course.
Did you see him? He's riding off the side of the track, and his arm's down here, and he couldn't touch the throttle, and he's going.
Oh yeah.
But I saw that, but I didn't realize that was Zarco again that was involved in this.
It was
it?
Bloody Zarco. Yes, I think Mir tried to go up the inside of them and then forced one of them wide, and Zarco ended up going out and hitting Bagnaia. and he dislocated his shoulder and he had to retire. What a poor way for that guy to finish the season. Because you remember he had a broken leg and he was having to be carried onto the bike and he had crutches. Yeah. And now he finishes the season with a dislocated shoulder. Oh my God. He's
yes.
cursed.
And in the middle of the season, it seems to be, I am a challenger.
Exactly. We were all talking about him going, he's doing really, really well.
Yeah. We saw now Ducati, now they have the rider they want, bang. At the end, what we have repeated here 1,000 of times. It's not how it starts, it's how it ends.
Yeah,
that's
how
exactly
it
right.
ends.
So speaking, Manuel, we were just talking when we were waiting for Stu offline about a couple of the riders that were leaving and how emotional it was or whatever. I must ask about Tito.
Oh, yes. Tito Rabat. Look, the Portugal was the Grand Prix of the last times. The last time. Look,
so many retirees, wasn't there? Yeah.
Yeah, no, and many situations. Basically, all the teams but Suzuki will change next year. All of them. Yep. Just look. It was the last time of Dovizioso, right? Carl Crutchlow last time. Last time of Valentino in a factory team.
Yep.
Last time of Tito Rabat. Last time of Petrucci on a Ducati. Last time of Paul Espargaro on a KTM. Last time of Quartararo on a satellite team. And last time of Alex Marquez in a factory team.
That's right. He's going back. Yeah.
So last time for half of Rossi's team.
Yeah.
Exactly. But they are outsiders. But and obviously last race of Tito Rabat. So I asked Carl Crutchlow about Tito was a world champion or is a Moto2 world champion. So I asked Carl about why did he think that Tito didn't do well? And Carl's answer was brilliant. And he answered me with a question. He said to me, Manuel, do you think that Aleix Espargaró is a better rider than Tito Rabat? Of course not, because Aleix has won nothing.
He hasn't won anything yet. That's right. Yeah.
Anything. And he said, that's the difference between being in a factory team and being in a satellite team.
Yep.
So it was short and clear, you know.
Wow.
So Tito would have done much better if he would have been in another situation, because he's at the level of Alex Marquez. He's at the level of other Moto2 winners, you know, like Bagnaia. The problem is that he got stuck from the first moment in teams that didn't give him the tools he needed.
That's a really good point, Manuel. And I suppose that also reminds me of the situation at Aprilia, where at the moment it still looks like we've got Savadori, who's going to potentially have the ride next year, or Bradley Smith. But there's been so many Moto2 riders have been linked to that Aprilia ride. Joe Roberts, the most recent one especially. who was saying, look, he's going to MotoGP next year, but then he and a lot of other guys have turned down that ride because they're saying we don't want to be stuck on a bad MotoGP bike. We'd rather be on a good Moto2 bike. That's exactly right.
I love that none of the Moto2 riders, obviously there's more to it and legalities and contracts, but I love that none of them went, it's MotoGP, I'm jumping on that bike.
Exactly, yeah. And I suppose fast forward a year, is that going to happen to Remy? What's he going to do?
Look, I think, the Aprilia is not, it's the worst bike on the grid by clear. But look, the situation, first let's go through all the candidates that Aprilia had to get on this bike.
Sorry, carry on. I'm just going to pour myself another drink.
Got some of mine. All right,
okay, what happened? Look, we heard the name of Joe Roberts, who was surprising. He is not ready for at all.
Even I worked that out. Yep.
So why did they choose him? Because of his passport.
Yep.
Again, yes.
Another option was Chas Davies. Chas. Okay.
Who's
why?
Chas?
Passport.
He races
British.
for Ducati in World Superbike.
Roger.
And he was the only friend Casey Stoner had in the paddock.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. They wanted Chas. Why? Because MotoGP needs a British rider for the BT Sport team broadcasting.
That's right. Yeah. Cal steps to the side. They want to bring another British rider in.
And BT demands having a British rider. You know, all these guys, and look at this story. This is fantastic. When the name of Roberts came out, they asked Aleix Espargaró, what do you think? And Aleix said, I think it's very good because he's a young, talented rider. I think he would be welcome to our garage, which is between lines of that. He wants somebody who be slow because he wants still to be the big fish.
Exactly. He doesn't want somebody who's going to come in and upstage him. Exactly.
And somebody who will be able to come and show his real performance.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Of the bike, the real capability of the bike, because then that puts a spotlight back on Aleix.
And I tell you something more. For example, I know that Bradley Smith has not been paid yet.
Oh, jeez.
Because
the bloody Rona. Did they look at any Japanese riders for the Aprilia seat?
No.
None are good enough yet.
No. And I tell you something. Look, in my opinion, I don't know if I told you this. In my opinion, the perfect move should have been you sign Bezzecchi or you sign Remy Gardner for 2022 as a young rider. You sign a guy that helps you to develop the bike, and who would be, in my opinion, the number one, clearly, Michele Pirro. They should have stolen from Ducati Michele Pirro.
Yep.
And put him on
development rider for sure.
That would have been the perfect move. And I know that there was an offers too. But what happened? Yes, what happened? Michele Pirro has a Ducati shop.
Right.
There you go. No
and this would have been to throw away all his future. Just
it's like Ferrari versus Lamborghini, isn't it? You're either one or the other.
A Kia or a Maserati, right, Stu?
Exactly. What's a Kia?
So this is the situation in Aprilia now. I don't know. They need somebody to help them to push up the bike. Aleix Espargaró can't be the reference for them. With all my respect, they need somebody in a garage. That need two riders that push each other, especially when the bike is new.
So what are they doing? They're giving the two guys the seat and they've got to pretty much prove their worth and who's going to keep it, or?
I don't know. The last thing I heard was that they were continuing with Salvador,
Oh, yeah, I thought there was two of them, kind of. I don't know.
I don't know. But look, I think that I'm looking to Remy Gardner after next year. Okay.
For Aprilia, you think maybe?
Or KTM.
Or KTM.
KTM.
KTM, yes, good
Yeah.
move because
He could- 'cause
Petrucci
he
has
can
a
just-
1 year contract.
Easy, straight up.
Yep.
Yeah, and then he's now getting in with the new team he is in. That is the Acciajo team. Is basically a KTM production rider team. You know,
Yeah.
they produce the riders and they push
It's a-
them up.
it's a
Remy
feeder
has
team.
to take
Easy.
exactly. He has to take that opportunity
It's a
because
clear
they're
path for him.
exactly his path to MotoGP in a factory team. Fantastic.
Nice. Yeah. Good observation, Andrea. Really, really good.
See how much I've learned this year?
I know.
Wow.
Oh my God.
I think we must in these months, in this hibernation month, we must have a chat with Remy.
I think so.
Yeah, and also we will try to get Sam also.
Well,
and, you know,
what I said to Sam today is that I think we need to get Sam and Alex so we can see which is the better looking twin. Simple.
Clearly. Priorities, but I don't know.
I mean, talk about the difference between MotoGP and superbikes.
Ooh, if you got two British riders there, that's going to be a fight. That will be a fight.
even being brothers.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. No, definitely. That's cool. So before we sign off, guys, so we've had some great conversations, and from what it sounds like to me, it sounds like this off season that's coming up is actually going to be almost as interesting as the season was as well. You know, looking how some of these bikes develop, the KTM engine development is going to be really interesting. What ends up happening at Aprilia is going to be very interesting as well. And as we say, the actual calendar as it firms up as well is going to be really interesting for 2021. So I think we'll get together a few times over the off season. But for now, we've had an incredible season of conversations and talking about an incredible season of racing. Any other observations that you've got before we sign off, Manuel?
Yes, no, what you mentioned about the preseason, as we just said, all teams but one will have a new people in, new rider in the garage. So it will be super interesting to see what Petrucci is capable to do on the KTM, what Valentino is capable to do on a non-factory team for the first time in his life.
He's going to look mighty fine in those colours, by the way.
It's very tight.
Sorry, I was just going to say, I was watching again this weekend. I'm like, why do they always have the camera straight up their ass pipe when they start doing their stretches as they're riding out onto the track?
Yeah, as they're picking the undies out the bum.
Sorry, Manuel, continue.
Yeah.
No, I just wanted to say that I have enjoyed a lot, and I think that we have started something nice, nice
Indeed.
and funny and enjoying. And every time we do this, I enjoy a lot.
Thank
I
you
hope
so
that
much,
people
mate.
that follow us as well.
And and I love that the people listen to us, and I've made lots of friends through this, but in no disrespect to them, I could sit and just chat to you guys, and if no one listened to us, I wouldn't care. It's been an absolute pleasure getting to know you both and doing this every week. And
it's getting very dusty in here.
I know I haven't even been drinking.
No, it's terrible, isn't it? No, it has. And
That's
I
the
just want to
problem.
echo
That's
that
the
as
problem.
well. Yeah, I want to echo those sentiments as well, guys. It has been an absolute pleasure, and it's been an honor as well for both of you to take the time out to talk with an idiot like myself who just loves watching motorbikes go really fast.
It's hard at times.
Wonderful. Yeah, I know. Food goes in here. Exactly. That's right. And so I'm sure, as you say, in the off season and the preseason, we'll get together a couple of times. We'll see if we can have a chat with Sam and Remy and those sort of guys, and maybe some other guys as well, quite possibly. But until then, let's sign off for the last time, and then we'll have a couple of weeks off and we'll have a bit of a break. So for the last time for a while, Andra, have you got anything that you want to say to our listeners and our viewers before we sign off?
Nah. No, all the usual, all the socials.
All the usual, exactly. Get on the socials. If this is the first podcast you're listening to, or the first vodcast that you're seeing, there's a whole bunch of them before this. So go back to the beginning of the year and look at them all.
And the biggest
Go for it.
highlight, I have actually gone back and listened to some of our older stuff now that I know who we're talking about.
Yeah.
And it's also quite an incredible journey listening to me even try to pronounce some of the most simple names or places at the beginning of my journey this year. But listening to the Manuel incident has been an absolute highlight for me, and getting Manuel's insight on experiences and trying to say one or two words about someone, because Manuel can't do that for anything.
That's an impossibility. Indeed. Oh, indeed it is. So look, thank you so much, everybody. Thank you very much, Hefe. You've been an absolute legend to be so patient and listen to our bullshit for the year. It's been absolutely fantastic, mate.
Look, it's incredible. You are as far as somebody can be from me. You know,
Yeah, we are.
It's incredible. And what makes us a family is that our love for the racing. It's amazing. You know? And there are no borders, there are no flags, there is just racing.
Yes.
And we have done 32 of these episodes.
I know.
32.
Bloody awesome. I nearly got a bit
so
sad
good.
the other day. Manuel sent us a map to show where he was on his ride to Portimao, and it come up and said you were 17,000 miles or kilometers away from me. And I was like, oh my God, you're so far away.
Indeed.
Yeah.
We will get to do one of these.
Next year, we will meet somewhere in this planet, whether it's in Australia, in Japan, or whatever.
Paris.
We will.
Paris, there is always Paris.
There's always Paris.
Okay, guys, thank
Indeed,
you very
we will.
much. And
Take
I
care.
love you.
Love you.
Thank you so
Bye.
much.
We'll speak
Love
soon.
you, Hefe. Thank you very much.
Okay.
And for all you guys out there in
Bye-bye.
podcast land, take care. Stay upright. Love the MotoGP. Bye.